Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Masters of the Universe Classics Hawke from Super 7. Continuing on with our look at the first wave of Classics figures released by Super 7, we're going to check out the Avionian female known as Hawke. And as you can see, she comes in that standard Masters of the Universe Classics blister card packaging, which fully showcases our action figure within. If we rotate this around to the backside, we've got the cross-sell up at the top showing all of the figures in this first wave, along with some awesome new artwork on the side there of Hawke. And down below that, we've got a brand new bio for the character, continuing the bios on these new figures. So let's go ahead and get Hawke opened up from the packaging and take a closer look at her. So Hawke is a character that appeared first in the Filmation series, also did appear later on in the 2000X Mike Young Productions series, and while she's part of the Classics line and not the Filmation line, she definitely has that Filmation inspired look to her. Now this is not anything new, we've had plenty of figures in the Classics line that resemble their Filmation counterparts, and usually they have a little bit more details than the Filmation figures, so let's go ahead and get in here and get a closer look at her. Now I do want to start with the head on this particular figure. The sculpt of it is really nice. It's got that great Avionian helmet, and on the backside you can see her reddish orange hair kind of flowing out from the back of the helmet. Now the weird thing going on with this is that it definitely looks like it's sitting a little too low on the neck peg. And I honestly don't know if it feels a little bit oversized. That might just be because of the helmet. Sometimes helmets does that. But I definitely do feel like she's got that no neck thing going on. Feels like this should be up just a little bit higher on the neck. As we come down here, the rest of the details, like I said, have that very Filmation look. Now you will see she does have the feathers on the wrists there, which do have the ability to spin, so that's very nice. You can kind of position those anywhere you want to on the arm. They are nicely detailed, very similar to the way Stratos's are detailed on his action figure. But aside from like a little bit of line work up at the top of her outfit, she is got very simplistic look to her, so she almost does have kind of that Filmation look going on here. But that's okay, because that means it would fit in good with your Filmation figure. But she also could look good next to Stratos, which we'll take a look at here in just a bit. Now the paint details look pretty good for the most part. I do still have some spaces, like I've seen on a lot of these figures, where the lines just aren't super clean. You can see some spots where there's some blue mist there. I do have a large paint swatch on her back of like flesh tone on the back of her outfit, a little bit of blue up there on the hair. So there are some spots there where the paint just doesn't match up. Now, the other thing we got to talk about with this, and something that has been known about the female figures in this particular lineup, there was apparently an issue with the pegs at the thighs, where some of the female figures that got released have much longer pegs than they're supposed to, and as a result, their hips just look a little too wide, and you can kind of see that going on with Hawke here. It honestly doesn't look too bad from the front. It's not super noticeable unless you're looking for it, but where I feel like it's the most noticeable is on the backside, because she's kind of got this double butt thing going on. Like she's got the sculpt of her butt here and then also on the back of the legs. That's because these are supposed to be much more closer together there. So she's definitely got that going on. And if you look, you can kind of see like there's definitely some funkiness going on with the hip pegs here. Now, Super 7 did mention this in my interview with them at Toy Fair, and they said that it seems like some of them got out like this and some of them are correct. So yours might be correct. Mine looks like it's got those longer hip pegs. So let's go ahead and talk articulation on this figure. She does have the standard joint at the head. I will say that the hair kind of gets in the way just a little bit there, but you can still move the head slightly up and down as well. She's got those standard ball joints at the shoulders, so the arms can go forwards, backwards. We can swivel it at the bicep there. This piece right here is sculpted onto the bicep, part of the arm, the little band there. You got the standard joints at the elbows, which is actually really tight on there. You got the swivels at the wrist, and we've got the nice little hinge joints at the wrist, like on the Filmation figures. Something I very much appreciate. We've got that torso rocker there, so you can kind of rotate the upper body. Nothing at the waist because of the sculpt of the figure. And then, of course, I showed you those pegs there at the thighs, so the legs can go outwards, forwards, backwards. The bottom portion here is made of a bit of a softer, more pliable plastic. As you can see, it kind of bends with the articulated legs, so that way it doesn't hinder the movement. We've got soles at the thighs, which is right at the top of the boots, so that works out perfect there. You got nice tight joints at the knees. You got nice tight joints at the ankles, which is perfect on her, so the ankles can go forwards and backwards as well as rock side to side. So really nice articulation on this particular figure. Now, she does come with an interchangeable head, which is pretty cool because it's a different character. So you've got the option to display her with this blonde-haired head, which is Delora, Stratos' sister. So essentially we're getting two characters in one because they look almost identical except for the hair there. So if you were able to pick up two of these, you can essentially display two different characters. So I do want to talk about popping the head off here. This has kind of always been the thing I feel like with the female figures in the line. The head joint feels almost a little too fragile, and it's very hard actually to pop the head off. You have to give a lot of pressure here. And the hair is made of a softer plastic on both of these. It's kind of soft and squishy. And one thing I noticed on mine, right out of the box too, before I really did anything, the hair is starting to separate from the helmet on both of these. So be careful if you're planning to switch the heads. Don't grab by the hair because I'm worried that you'll just rip that straight off. The sculpts look identical. So if you're looking at just the heads here, it looks like they're the exact same sculpt. The only difference, of course, is the hair, the color, and the length of the hair. But you can easily just pop that on. Again, give it a lot of pressure there. Push it on the ball joint. It does snap on nice. And now you've got yourself a completely new character to display. Now, Hawke does come with two different weapons here to armor up with. First of all, she's got this really nice sword. I love the colors here. It's kind of like a dark gunmetal there with a different color on the hilt. Also, I love the interesting sculpt here because it's a little thinner down at the bottom, which actually works with the grip of her hands better. So that's the part of it she definitely holds on to best. But it's a really nice looking sword and a great weapon to armor up with. The next weapon here is one that comes straight out of the Filmation series. This is the smokescreen gun. This is something that we see the Avionians using, which is a really fun little accessory. It's the same colors as a sword. One of the unique things that I thought was interesting, I'm not sure we've seen this before, it's got an actual leather strap. This is not plastic. This is actually like a little piece of leather that's glued on there. And I thought that was pretty cool. So you can position that over her head, and then it has the smaller portion on the handles there so she can hold onto the back as well as the front there. And that way you can have her posed holding onto the smokescreen gun straight out of the cartoon. So pretty cool little accessory. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at the Masters of the Universe Classics Hawke and Delora. First time figures for both of these characters. Overall, I'd say it's a pretty nice figure, but it does have two kind of issues here. One, of course, is the hip pegs, making her legs just stick out a little too far, making it look a little too wide there. I'm really hoping that's an issue that gets rectified going forward for any future female figures in the release. And the other issue I ran into is the fact that her head sits just a little too low on the neck. She definitely does not have a neck. Other than that, she's perfectly fine. Articulation functions well. The paint deco looks pretty good except for the few little slops that I had, and I do really enjoy the accessories. I would go ahead and throw out the warning with the heads, but this is the same warning I was throwing out as far back as the original Teela figure. I wouldn't plan on swapping those heads too often. I would find the head you want to put on there and probably leave it on there because I would be a little worried about breaking that neck peg because it does feel a little too fragile. So this particular figure, like all of the first wave figures from Super 7, was made pre-order only, so if you missed out on that, at this point you're gonna have to pick Hawke up on the aftermarket, so happy hunting, my friends. Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on any of my Masters of the Universe reviews. Until next time, my friends.